Hello everyone, how are you? Today's breaking news. Virginia Giuffre, the woman who accused Jeffrey Epstein and Prince Andrew of sexual abuse, died by suicide, her family announced on Friday. It is with utterly broken hearts that we announce that Virginia passed away last night at her farm in Western Australia. She lost her life to suicide after being a lifelong victim of sexual abuse and sex trafficking, her family statement said. Virginia Giuffre, one of the most prominent survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's sexual abuse, has died by suicide, her family said Friday. Giuffre, 41, died in Neargaby, Australia, where she had been living for several years. Giuffre was one of the earliest and loudest voices calling for criminal charges against Epstein and his enablers. Other Epstein abuse survivors later credited her with giving them the courage to speak out. She also provided critical information to law enforcement that contributed to the investigation into and later the conviction of Epstein's associate Ghislaine Maxwell, as well as other investigations by the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York. It is with utterly broken hearts that we announce that Virginia passed away last night at her farm in Western Australia, her family said in a statement to NBC News. She lost her life to suicide after being a lifelong victim of sexual abuse and sex trafficking. Virginia was a fierce warrior in the fight against sexual abuse and sex trafficking. She was the light that lifted so many survivors, the statement said. In the end, the toll of abuse is so heavy that it became unbearable for Virginia to handle its weight. Raised primarily in Florida, Giuffre had a troubled childhood. She said she was abused by a family friend, triggering a downward spiral that led to her living on the streets for a time as a teenager. She was attempting to rebuild her life when she met Maxwell, Epstein's close confidant. Maxwell groomed her to be sexually abused by Epstein, and that abuse continued from 1999 to 2002, according to Giuffre. Giuffre also alleged that Epstein trafficked her to his powerful friends, including Prince Andrew and French modeling agent Jean-Luc Brunel. Epstein, a wealthy financier, died by suicide in a New York jail in 2019 while he was awaiting trial on federal sex trafficking charges. Maxwell, a former British socialite, was found guilty on 5 counts of sex trafficking in 2021 for her role in recruiting young girls to be abused by Epstein. Giuffre filed a federal lawsuit against Andrew in 2021, alleging that he sexually abused her when she was 17. Andrew, who stepped back from his duties as an active royal as controversy related to Epstein swirled around him, agreed to settle the case for an undisclosed amount in 2022. He has denied having sex with her. Brunel, who headed several modeling agencies, was charged with sexual harassment and the rape of at least one minor in December 2020. He denied wrongdoing and died by suicide in his jail cell in February 2022. Several months prior, Giuffre testified against Brunel in a Paris courtroom in June 2021. In an interview after her day-long closed-door testimony, Giuffre said she appeared in court to be a voice for the victims and to make sure Brunel was brought to justice. "I wanted Brunel to know that he no longer has the power over me," Giuffre said, "that I am a grown woman now, and I've decided to hold him accountable for what he did to me and so many others." Giuffre moved to Australia with her husband before Epstein's 2019 arrest. The couple has 3 children. Her brother, Danny Wilson, told NBC News she pushed so hard to snuff the evil out of the world. "Her biggest push was, if I don't do this, nobody's going to do it," he said, regarding her advocacy. She was in real physical pain, suffered from renal failure. But I think that the mental pain was worse. The Epstein story received renewed attention during the most recent presidential election, and in February, Attorney General Pam Bondi released a collection of Epstein-related files to right-wing media figures and then to the public. Though the release was widely panned for containing information that was almost entirely previously public, the lead-up to its release, including concerns about the disclosure of sensitive or personally identifying information about victims, had been a source of distress and anxiety for victims in recent months, multiple victims told NBC News. Giuffre's lawyer, Sigrid McCauley, described her as a dear friend and an incredible champion for other victims. Those who were close to Giuffre said they remembered her as a fighter. Virginia was one of the most extraordinary human beings I have ever had the honor to know, her representative, Deanie von Mueffling, said. And Macaulay said, her courage pushed me to fight harder, and her strength was awe-inspiring. In an interview for a Dateline NBC special on Epstein that aired before authorities charged Maxwell and Brunel, Giuffre urged law enforcement to act. Take us serious, she said. We matter.